back. This is the NFC edition for the 2015 fantasy football season. We're actually going to start this one by going with our expansion team, the White Walkers. Well, Mike, this first draft, how many quarterbacks do you need before you say you got too many?
Yeah, I do think it's a deadly mistake actually drafting 4 quarterbacks because you're not going to use all 4 quarterbacks. I mean, if you have 3 quarterbacks, you might use one of the quarterbacks you have maybe 1 or 2 weeks of the season.
If you don't have an elite quarterback, like the Blitz don't have an elite quarterback, it makes sense why I would use roulette as much as possible. Here, we have an elite quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
You're going to start him most of the weeks of the season. Like, are you really going to look at your lot and go, Marcus Mariota's going to start over these other quarterbacks?
Despite the fact that it's a 5th-round draft pick, that draft pick could have been used for better reasons.
And here's why. Look at his running back core. First, we have Arian Foster. When is he playing again this year?
Yep, unknown.
Is he playing again this year?
Yeah. That's why I didn't keep him.
Yeah, I don't know when Arian Foster's playing, but meanwhile, while you have 4 quarterbacks, you have 2 working running backs to start the year.
And D'Angelo Williams is actually going to be the 2nd-tier running back once Le'Veon Bell
so unless you're hoping on Le'Veon Bell to continue his recent string of drug busting, you're going to have a backup running back there, and then you have T.J. Yeldon,
who's unproven,
and with one of the worst offenses in the league. That's your running back core, and you decided to invest way too heavily in your quarterback situation. But let's talk about some things they did right, though. Like, let's talk about their offenses. I really like their offenses of Dallas and Miami, actually.
I think Dallas is one of the top-tier offenses in this league. Certainly was a very good selection. It was one of his earlier selections, actually. I think that actually was, first round?
Yeah, I think it was first round.
First round.
Miami's a sneakily good backup offense, actually.
Yeah.
Sneakily good Miami at offense. They should be much better. They should have a better year as well. So he's actually pretty solid offense, but when you start looking at other things, like, we've got to love Antonio Brown with Big Ben. Great pairing.
It's a good combination to have.
That's a smart rookie move.
Unfortunately, not a lot of his other supporting cast, scares me. So Keenan Allen, I think, could be a solid player, but the question is whether or not he'll rebound off a poor season he had last year. And he's got the best 2 tight end combination in the league, which would be good for him because he can actually use that as a flex position.
Considering his depth at running back where he can't use it.
We're referring to Jason Witten and Martellus Bennett.
Yes. And also, we look at this, like, why is Kenny Britt still being drafted?
I don't know why.
It's like Kenny Britt, like Darren McFadden, just like, I recognize that name from 5 years ago.
He's just there on an NFL stat sheet.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
Well, Kenny Britt is not bad in terms of if you do yards and receptions.
He's still bad if you do yards and receptions. He's bad in any fantasy league. He's just there because he's a name, and they had, 6 good games one year?
I don't know if Mariota's going to turn anyone around.
I don't think so either. Put it this way, I doubt we'll see the Mariota-Britt combination used very often in place of Big Ben and Antonio Brown.
Yes.
Which is clearly the team's best asset. We look at defenses. I could have sworn these defenses were great years ago, but Chicago, Carolina this year?
No. Despite the fact that Carolina was a playoff team last year, they actually did not perform well.
Chicago was a sieve.
They were. You think they couldn't do anything they couldn't do any worse than what they actually did last year.
If you're banking on an improvement, that's great, but you're starting.
It's a rebuilding team. To me,
Yeah.
it's a rebuilding team. They play in a very tough division anyway, so I would probably
two games against Minnesota, 2 games against Green Bay, 2 games against Detroit.
That's right.
Are you starting them ever? Kelly, I gotta ask that question. Are you ever gonna start them, or are you gonna transform them into Walker babies or something like?
I have no clue. It's a defense I would not attempt at all.
Jalen Strong's interesting. That's a good pet project to see if he emerges. But
who's throwing the ball?
I don't know, but maybe he can loan him one of his 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah, he plays with the Texans, so I don't know. It's got some working parts, but the defense just scares me. The defense, I think, offsets whatever Dallas has. And, he's hoping that Witten Bennett, could at least produce 12 points, or at least one of them produces 12. Unless Roethlisberger goes nuts with Antonio Brown, it's still a very weak within the supporting cast. If he doesn't get anything from Roethlisberger or Brown,
every week he's dead. He's dead every week.
He's sunk. More like what we saw with the Falcons when we discussed Calvin Johnson and Matt Stafford.
Yeah, except this team just has having a better offense, but a much worse defense. That seems to be the trade-off here.
That is true.
Let's turn our attention now to the Rough Riders, our perennial bridesmaid. And let's see. You think Ben will lose the Super Bowl by under 5 points this year, or?
I don't know, but you know Ben. Ben is one of the teams that's always hangs around.
Whose roster size, if you can look closely, is not even half a page currently.
It's minuscule. Well, that's because of all the trades that he made last year.
Thank you for saving me the printer paper, Ben. But
yes.
Looking at what he did wind up drafting.
Look, he still wound up keeping Peyton Manning in Denver. By the way, this will be the last time he does this because of the nuclear option when everything blows up. So I don't know how much Peyton Manning has left with Denver. I really don't know.
If it's a sign of the last few weeks of the season, that could turn ugly.
I'm curious to see this team this year. I think they could be on their last legs. I really do.
It's 1 year ago, but he only
after losing, in their first playoff game.
There's one offense and one defense on this team right now.
So far, so far. But
then
again, Ben is a master of free agency. He has been for a long period of time, so I'm sure he'll fill needs. But even with what he had, there's still some great things happening outside of the players.
Oh God! If anyone benefited from Jordy Nelson going down, it's Randall Cobb and boom, right there.
Yep.
Randall Cobb with Demaryius Thomas.
He's got two very good number ones now. Demaryius Thomas, Randall Cobb. Even Roddy White's a good compliment to number 3.
Well, he may have 2 number 1s at wide receiver. He also has a good collection of number 5s at running backs. It's an embarrassment to call these guys number 3s.
This is what the Smash Mouths did. The Smash Mouths took 3 great running backs and killed everyone else, almost everyone else in this league.
Got Trey Mason, Niall Davis, Chris Ivory.
Trey Mason, Niall Davis are probably not even going to start for St. Louis this year. So he really has Chris Ivory going on the Jets. This is his only running back. I mean, he's not the only team with this problem.
Oh no, he's not. But he has one of the more glaring ones because he's only running like 10 players on his roster, and that's 3 that he drafted.
And he still needs another offense. He still needs another defense out of the side of the Jets.
I don't know, give their draft score incomplete because I just don't know what I don't know what his team's going to look like in 3 weeks when he fills out his roster.
But it has the makings potentially of someone that could cause damage.
If Denver has one more year in the tank is the question.
Yeah.
Does Denver give him another year? And can he shore up the backups?
I still think Manning could still be good for 12. Maybe not 18 anymore, but I certainly think 12.
I'm curious to see what this is the biggest question mark in our league right now is what do the Rough Riders do this year?
I would agree. I don't know what they're going to do. Certainly, they're going to have a lot of opportunities within free agency right now.
I know. Well,
but they still have some good working parts.
They do. Turning our attention now, to a team that filled up. Well, this team took the rest of Ben's team actually. As you see, this one fills up 2/3 of the page.
We think that this is the best team in the league, and not just because of the depth that they actually have.
The returning champions have locked in Logan. And this is the rewards of all those trades. So, P.S. Make trades this year, people, if you're out of it, because this is what could happen when you come back next year.
And he managed to keep a lot of the role players he actually had on his team.
Mike Evans is back. Brendan Cooks.
C.J. Anderson. Jordan Matthews.
He's running a good quarterback tandem with Manning and Bridgewater. His Week 11 offense will be interesting, but till then, he does have the Giants in New Orleans. P.S. Whoever plays him in Week 11, look at the bye week schedule. You're going to be happy. But other things, this team is just solid. Like, look at the wide receivers. Like, to think Brandon Cooks could be on the bench when he doesn't feel like it.
And he's going to be the number 1 receiver more likely on the Saints this year.
And you bench him when he doesn't feel like it. I know teams that would kill for Brandon Cooks as their number 1 receiver. He's holding on to him as a 4th.
That's right.
Oh, he has the combo with Manning, Odell Beckham. That's a great one. That could really pay good dividends if OD3 stays healthy. His running back core is interesting, but he pieced together pretty good for Crowell and Jackson.
C.J. Anderson is the number 1. At this point, you kind of figure that he might be more involved in the offense this year. So perhaps he does get 6 or 12. I mean, the other running backs don't scare you as much, but considering what type of depth he has at the wide receiver position, I certainly think he can compensate for it.
Oh, God, tight end.
Even the tight end.
Tight end's great. You got Jimmy Graham, you got Zach Ertz, solid. And Max Williams is just there, I guess, to bring him water when they get thirsty, because he's not going to see a lot of day in this lineup. And this is a team there are a lot of teams out there who are screaming for players right now. So maybe they can trade some of these guys and get more picks next year, quite frankly.
Yeah, they have the ability to get more assets.
They can keep accumulating assets with this roster they have.
I do like the combination, though, with Eli Manning and Teddy Bridgewater. They don't have the elite quarterbacks, but they have enough where potentially these two could get 12 points.
Easily. Defense is not bad. We'll see what you
had Houston last year.
Yeah, well, we'll see what the Colts
can do. And that's the Colts, and you think that the Colts are going to make the postseason this year. They're gonna play well at times defensively.
It's clearly the strongest team in the league, in our opinion, and this was not even a question when we looked at everyone's roster. We simply just looked at Solamente and started drooling.
Yes.
But let's not put their next competitor in any more doubt, though. Bossman last year, we predicted on this podcast the Bob would fall out of that squad, and boy did it ever. An embarrassing 3 wins last year?
Yeah, I believe he did it 3.
Embarrassing 3-win campaign. Bottom completely fell out. Team in disarray. He even said fuck it and went into the expansion draft. His team was that bad.
Yeah, that's right.
And what did he come out with?
He came out with Pittsburgh's offense as one selection.
And Detroit's defense is
the other. It was interesting he took Detroit's defense in the expansion draft.
Well, even with the Sue Gunn, they're still a good defense, and
Yeah,
he's banking on them keeping the.
They were a playoff team last year. So.
Yeah, they're still he's considering them still as a top 10. I think that's a very fair assessment. Yeah. And to be honest, we look at his running back team. This is a team that's not going to be lacking running back issues.
No, actually, him I think the Smash Mouth's the strongest at that particular position.
He just has a deeper one. Maybe not as top heavy, but just as deep. DeMarco Murray, Frank Gore, Latavius Murray, Justin Forsett. That's 4 starters. Ben doesn't even have freaking one.
Even has Alfred Blue, who's going to start in place of Arian Foster.
No, great drafting at running back for Boston throughout the year.
He even had the number 1 pick. The only thing I would question is that he has one quarterback right now, even though he drafted Wilson, which was the top
most years that wouldn't be an issue, but because of the fact that we've had teams that just went quarterback crazy in the draft.
Yeah, White Walker's draft 4.
I think we count like 3 quarterbacks left for each. If anything happens to Russell Wilson, he's going to have to make a trade.
Yeah, I would think so, or at least try to find somebody through free agency to at least
God help him if Russell Wilson goes down, but still then Wilson could anchor 16 games.
And wide receivers are not terrible. I think Devontae Adams now actually plays a bigger role than Nelson.
Adams gets the green boost with Nelson out. That's a gain there.
And Jeffrey is turning into a great receiver for Chicago. But the running backs I think are his strongest piece right now. Yeah. His tight ends aren't bad. Well, Gates actually is not going to play for a while, and Eifert is still a question mark.
So Eifert can live up to his potential. Offenses are solid. Seattle will be a great backup to Pittsburgh.
That you can work interchangeably. That actually is not a bad combination. Detroit, like we mentioned, is solid. Even San Diego as a backup, you think they could contend.
You can live with San Diego.
So it's not bad. You kind of wish you had a little bit more depth at the receiving position, and in particular the quarterback. But certainly you like the offenses and you like the defense on the squad.
So, with that in mind, Mike, let's go through the NFC and say where we have these guys ranked.
Well, for me, I believe that the White Walkers, it's more of a learning curve for them. Looking at the fact that they don't have a lot of depth, and in particular the only depth that they have is the quarterback position. More likely they're going to use 2 throughout the course of the year.
I know, well, because of their lack of depth, the fact that they have more quarterbacks and running backs is the reason why we place them in 4th. Like, they're going to put them out in 4th, and they're going to have to climb the ladder the same way their predecessor, or the System of the Down did. They're going to go through the ropes, it looks like, for the first year. In 3rd place, who we have?
Well, for now, we're actually going to put the Rough Riders, and I use the emphasis for now.
It's like an asterisk we could place on their ranking.
Well, that's what I mean. The Rough Riders are the most creative team. Okay, they use free agency more than any other team in this league. So I certainly think he'll be active. He doesn't have to release anyone. Whatever he could find, whatever he could scrounge, he'll do something. Okay, to compete with the rest of the league.
Number 2, Mike, it's going to be Boston in the number 2 slot. Definitely, we think a definite playoff team this year with Boston.
Well, he had one of the strongest draft positions.
Yeah, and he took advantage of it.
And he took advantage of it. He did very well in the expansion draft, and we certainly see Boston as a playoff contender this year. Certainly. I think this is going to be the strongest division this year, the NFC.
I agree. And at the top is exactly why we see the Solamente, number 1. It's for a reason. Great quarterbacks, great running backs, great wide receivers, 2 good offenses, minus week 11, and decent defenses. This is a team that has enough depth and enough material to run the table right now. But we'll see what the next division brings us as we turn attention to the XFC in our next section. See you again.